So welcome everyone to this IEAA Alumni Sharing Session. So my name is Albert. I graduated in 2004 from Information Engineering, and I'm currently working in Dublin as an engineer in LinkedIn. So thank you very much for joining us today. Today we have three speakers. Also, three of them are alumni of the IE department, and they will share with us the blog about blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So let me give some introduction, and then I will hand over the time to three of the speakers. This event is actually organized on behalf of the IEAA, Information Engineering Alumni Society Association. And then maybe not every one of you know that IEAA exists because we don't really have a lot of activities in the past few years. But we have actually have reorganized the association, and hopefully in the future we'll organize more and more activities. So I'm actually one of the executive member of the IEAA, and I hope we can introduce other team members to you in the future. So in terms of this alumni sharing, we organized one about 2 months ago, and we have about 30 people joining us. Today we have actually over 90 people registered with this event, so we expect a lot of people joining us today. So I actually expect to organize this event as a continuous event. So eventually we'll invite more and more alumni to share with our students and graduates. So hopefully in the future, if any one of you are still interested, please stay tuned and join our future events. And if you think that your experience and knowledge might be beneficial to the current students or recent graduates, feel free to contact me, and I can arrange a alumni sharing session for you to share with our students and graduates. And then today we have three speakers. The first one is Dr. Shawn He. He is currently an assistant professor at Hong Kong University. So his research focuses on blockchain and cryptocurrency and cryptography. And also we have Dr. Joseph Liu, also an alumni of IE department. He is currently the director of the Monash Blockchain Technology Center and also associate professor in Australia. So he will also talk with us about the latest research related to blockchain and also his own experience. And last but not least, we have Mr. Shawn. So he is currently a quantitative trader in a crypto exchange. So I think a lot of people would be interested to know about what kind of tasks or work or projects he is doing in the crypto exchange. Without further ado, I will hand over the time to John so that he can talk about his work and his sharing. Q&A forum, which I have set up, you can leave questions there. And at the end, we have some Q&A time so that you can ask questions. Okay, John, I will let you share the screen.
Hi, my name is John Yuen. I'm a alumni. I'm graduated from the IE department in 2004. Actually, I'm a classmate of Albert, so I thanks Albert for his invitation today. And I also get my MPhil degree afterward, also in IE. I graduated in 2006. So today I'll first give about a very brief introduction about blockchain and cryptocurrency first, and then I will share some of my personal experience, my research in this area. So let's start with a little bit introduction about myself. So as I mentioned, I graduated from IE in 2004 and 2006 actually, and then afterwards I go to study my PhD degree in the University of Wollongong in Australia, and I graduated in 2010. And at that time, actually, my research area is cryptography. So afterwards, after I graduate, and then I come back to Hong Kong and I get my postdoc in HKU, and I worked there until 2013. So this is my study and my first job experience after I graduate. And afterwards, after my research in the academic area, actually I joined the industry afterwards. So I go to Huawei Research Lab in Singapore in around 2014, and I worked there until 2018. So at that time, I worked in the industry, Huawei. I believe you know this company. And I'm in that time, actually, I work in a few different areas, including doing and inventing some security related patent and doing some research there. and I also work as a cryptography consultant there. And at that time, at around year, I think 2000, around year maybe 2016 or 17, actually I start my research work in blockchain when I was working with Huawei. They have some blockchain related project, and eventually they developed a blockchain platform by themselves. So I participate in some of the research there. So this is how I get started with my research and my work in the blockchain area. And it is mainly because cryptography is one of the fundamental building block of blockchain, and that's why they find me to ask me to work in this area as well. And afterwards, actually, I come back to Hong Kong U to join and work as an assistant professor now in the Department of Computer Science. And currently my major research work is in the area of cryptography as well as blockchain. And apart from that, I also teach and have some project in the area of fintech as well, something related to algorithm trading or chatbot, etc. So these are all the works that I'm working on now. So if you are interested in further details, we can talk more in the Q&A session later on. So in today's presentation, because I'm the first speaker, so I'll give some very basic introduction about Bitcoin and blockchain as well. And then I will talk about some of the interesting field and applications that I think which is quite popular recently. So this is the brief outline for today's presentation. So let's get started. So this is a photo taken in front of the HSBC headquarters in Central. So it is an advertisement to promote Bitcoin. So you can see the headline is "Be Your Own Bank," just right in front of the HSBC headquarters. And below that, you can see the advertisement to say something good or some interesting properties about Bitcoin. So why it is better than some traditional bank? So let's have a closer look. What is written there? So you can see that they say that, okay, there are more US dollars has been printed in 2020 than were in existence in 2009. But the supply of Bitcoin is limited to 21 million only. So that means that the government, especially the US government, is printing money, and you get the value of the US dollar become lower and lower. But the price of Bitcoin will be expected to become higher and higher because there is limited supply. So this is the first thing, that's first property of Bitcoin. And some other properties they also mentioned there in the advertisement is that it is also divisible, transferable, verifiable, tamper-proof, etc. And Bitcoin is better at being gold than gold. So it is like a digital gold. So this is some common ideas or feelings about what is Bitcoin or what properties it provides. So how it gets started, how the Bitcoin started? Actually, in 2008, actually we have the global financial crisis, started from the subprime mortgage crisis in the US. And in the US government, how to deal with it? And they do the QE, so as undertaken to deal with some of these economical problems since the crisis there. At the same time, at the end of 2008, actually there is a research paper published online called the Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It is written by someone called Satoshi Nakamoto. But of course, this is not a real name. Actually, we don't know who he is or she is. But this paper is a very interesting one. They just suddenly upload online by some unknown person. And later on, a few months later, they published the source code implementing this Bitcoin system. And it is almost the same as the Bitcoin system we use nowadays. So why we think these two events are related? Because in the first Bitcoin transaction, actually, the transaction contained a message. A message includes the newspaper title called "The Chancellor Bailing Out Banks in the UK." So this is a topic, the topic of certain, I think it's US or UK newspaper, and they include this title in the first Bitcoin transaction. I think, or someone actually thinks that this reflects that Satoshi Nakamoto is not happy with how the QE and the government keep printing the money. So they think that maybe he's not satisfied with how the central banks deal with the financial crisis at that time. And that's why he invented Bitcoin. So why is Bitcoin important? Is that it is one of the first decentralized digital currency, and it is a peer-to-peer system such that we don't need an intermediary to carry out all the money transactions. That we don't need to have a bank, we don't need a central bank clearing and settlement system, etc. And all the transactions are done online, and all the data are recorded in a ledger called, nowadays we call them blockchain. And one important property is that the supply is limited. And there are 21 million Bitcoins, such that they can be mined until 2140. So it does not have the problem of devaluation by the government of printing the money, just like I mentioned before. And some other important properties is that everyone can use Bitcoin as long as he can access to the internet, and no one has the full control of the Bitcoin system, not even by its own inventor. And the Bitcoin system cannot be shut down theoretically if there is someone running it, using it, mining it, so no one is able to shut it down. So it is created by someone called Satoshi Nakamoto, and the interesting fact is that the identity of Nakamoto remains unknown, and someone believes that he owns 1 million Bitcoins, according to some statistic analysis, which makes him like one of the richest person in the world in early 2021. So you can see the price of Bitcoin, actually, they fluctuate quite a lot. And at the very beginning, the price is very low, less than hundreds or thousands of US dollars. And then in the year of 2017, actually, it reached the first peak, raised to around 20K US dollars because of some good news about the Bitcoin, like the launch of Bitcoin futures in 2017 in CME Group. But of course, the price collapsed later on because some of the scandals happened there, like the hacking of some crypto exchange and so on, or some of the government, they banned cryptocurrencies and so on. But eventually, the price rise to a new high, record high in I think in late 2020 to 2021, because of a lot of news, like the Tesla buy a lot of Bitcoin, and Elon Musk has a lot of Twitter about Bitcoin and so on. So this is a very brief history of Bitcoin itself. And why it is important. Actually, I captured it from two newspaper or magazine article. Like in the New York Times, it was mentioned that Bitcoin gives us, for the first time, for a way for an internet user to transfer a digital property to another people online. This transfer is secure and safe, and they guarantee that this transfer has been, no one can challenge the legitimacy of this transfer. And Economist magazine, they mentioned this, the blockchain is a trust machine. They can build trust with each other over the internet without a central authority. So it is a machine to build trust. And that's why people nowadays, they believe that blockchain is something that is quite unique and important in that sense. So what are the fundamental properties that can be provided by Bitcoin? So today, because of the limit of the time, I will not go into much technical detail. I just give a very brief one-page summary in the fundamental things. So actually, I compare Bitcoin to a traditional bank. So in a traditional bank, they have provide 4 types of service, roughly speaking. So like identity management. So they store your personal information when you open an account. They manage your transaction records, that they store it in a database, and they provide certain service to authorize and authenticate you. Like they validate your signature when you withdraw money. They keep track of your account balance and so on to make sure you have enough money to pay your bills and so on. And then finally, you trust the bank because it is verified by some auditors, regulated by governments and so on. So you build trust in that way. So this is the traditional centralized banking world. While on the other hand, the right-hand side is the Bitcoin. So actually they achieve all these 4 properties in a different way. So in the Bitcoin system, your identity is not your own personal information. Actually, your address is some random string. Actually, it is related to a proper key. So it does not directly related to your personal information. How about how to manage the data or the transaction records? Actually, it is done provided by a global distributed ledger called the blockchain nowadays. So this is a data structure that helps us to keep track on all the transaction record. And how to validate whether you authorize this transaction or not? Actually, they verify all the transactions by using a digital signature and a transaction model called the UTXO model to ensure that you have enough money to pay your transaction. And finally, why do you trust the Bitcoin system? Actually, they build a system in a way that the consensus of the system is built without any trust or central authority. And they build it in a mathematical ways. They use equations and formulas and to make sure that the entire system is safe and secure in certain sense. So if you use it, you only need to trust the mathematics behind, not some centralized authority or some centralized party or government. So these are the fundamental difference between the banking world and the cryptocurrency world. So next, I move on to more application side, something that is more than the currency itself. So actually, the Bitcoin systems or the blockchain actually starts from the Bitcoin, right? This is a cryptocurrency. And the first application of blockchain is currency. But later on, people find out that actually we can do more on the blockchain system, much more than that. And one of the most important one is called the smart contract. So I believe everyone know what is a contract in a traditional sense, in a paper form. That is a written or spoken agreement that is protected by the law. While in our blockchain world, actually the Ethereum, the second largest blockchain platform, actually they provide a new functionality called the smart contract. Smart contract is actually a piece of source code that can facilitate or verify or can run certain programming logic in a distributed system. That means this piece of source code is distributed to all nodes, all peers in this Ethereum platform or other smart contract platform, and such that everybody trusting this blockchain, they will want the same piece of source code, this piece of source code online, and then they can run it internally and they can obtain the same result. And everybody will trust the running of this piece of source code because of the security of the blockchain itself. So this is what is a smart contract. And they are quite similar in certain sense, because in a contract, usually it will write some condition. Just like if something happens, then maybe A should pay how much money to B, and then if something else, then B should pay how much to A, and so on. And we can do it, this kind of if and else logic, in a programming way and distribute it in the blockchain system. And actually, the smart contract, we find that there are quite a lot of applications apart from the currency or apart from the finance world. Because in the finance world, we know that blockchain can be done in global payment, clearing and settlement, trade finance, insurance claim, KYC, etc. But we find out that it can be used in much more application, like the supply chain management. We can use the security of the blockchain system to ensure that certain product, like a bottle of milk, is really produced from a farm in Australia and then shipped all the way to the cargo and then shipped to Hong Kong, to the supermarket, and so on. Nowadays, you can see a lot of food like meat and milk and other products. They claim that you can use a QR code and then you can find out the origin of that certain product. So this is all related to the blockchain application in the supply chain system to ensure the integrity and the security of the food traceability. And there are lots of other applications in terms of car sharing, room sharing, storage sharing. You may have heard of Filecoin, PFS. So this is related to that sharing economy. IoT device management, data exchange, DRM, digital rights management. So people who upload music or photos, then they can use the blockchain to claim that this is written by me but not someone else, copy it in YouTube or wherever, and so on. Or you can even use the blockchain to ensure that your health record is safe and secure and stored online, and so on. So these are all the interesting applications of smart contract. And you can find a lot of startup work in all these areas. Of course, one of the most The hottest market is ICO a few years ago. So ICO is a way that allow people, startups to, especially startups of smart contract, using smart contract, they raise money over the cryptocurrency platform. So people can invest either into the startup of company that is built on top of Ethereum, and it is considered to be one of easier way for those blockchain startup to raise money, like easier than posting your startup in a Kickstarter. And you can raise lots of money. Like we can see that some of the largest ICO worth more than 100 millions of US dollars. And ICO was the legal status is a little bit not clear because it is something very new. So we are not, it's not clear that if this is legal in certain countries or not. And that's why maybe 1 or 2 years ago, the term STO, the security token offer, is quite popular. Actually, this is a kind of sales of tokens that is regulated by the local government. And we can see that in the year 2019, Hong Kong is one of the it's the places that raise highest amount of money in STO and or ICO in 2019. You can see that we raised quite a lot of money. So Hong Kong is one of the strongest market in terms of ICO and STO as well. And I would also want to share 2 more applications that I find it quite popular in these 2 years. The first one is the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. That means that this is a digital currency that is issued by the central bank. Like it is firstly discussed by the Bank of England in 2015. And currently some of the countries are currently under testing, like Sweden or China. And I believe you already see a lot of news about China testing the CBDC there I think in Shenzhen and Shanghai. And they have quite a lot of potential advantage, like we have much faster clearing and settlement than the traditional bank system. They can provide financial inclusion for those who cannot afford to use the banking service or live in a remote area in a country that they do not have access to the physical branch of the bank. And another advantage of CBDC is that it can prevent crimes such as tax evasion or money laundering. And it can be also used as a new channel for providing helicopter money to the citizen. Like, nowadays the government in Hong Kong, they distribute the $5,000 by different digital wallet. It is quite troublesome. In certain sense, it is a lot of procedures and a lot of money has been used for administrative purposes. But if we have this kind of CBDC in Hong Kong, then distributing helicopter money to the citizen is much easier in this way. And in Hong Kong, actually HKMA, they have a project to test the CBDC cross-border payment with the Bank of Thailand currently. And we have 10 participating banks from Hong Kong and Thailand now. So this is the current progress in Hong Kong. And I also read the news that CBDC is currently, they start to be developed in a much faster pace since the outbreak of COVID-19. Since the outbreak, because people find it more important to use a digital money or shopping online. So many countries like China, US, France, South Korea, in Europe, they try to develop their own CBDC or they try to test it at least. So we can see this is one of the most important trend in payment, according to the Visa Crypto Chief in 2020. The other interesting one is the NFT, the non-fungible token. That means that the coins on the blockchain, actually each coin in the NFT token is unique, and therefore it can be used as a digital asset, and it can be used as something that to build some collectibles. One of the earliest interesting case is called the CryptoKitties. So you have a digital coin to store or to collect those lovely kitties online. Or recently, the NBA, they have the like the sport player card issued in NFT. So if you are the fans of certain players, then you can collect his NBA cards in terms of NFT token. And actually, some of the musicians in Taiwan or in also in Hong Kong, they try to publish their songs online, and they issue the digital tokens for their songs to their fans. Like in Taiwan, Eric Child, they have the NFT. I think a few months ago, Han Jin Tan, the Singaporean musician, they also sell his song online, which worth maybe tens of thousands Hong Kong dollar for his song. So it is again another very popular topic nowadays. And finally, I would want to quickly share some of my current research and works that I work on. And actually, some of my research, actually, I work with Joseph, the next speaker, and we work in ring signature, which is currently is in use in Monero, one of the largest privacy preserving cryptocurrency. So actually, I have some research work with Joseph in this area. And some of other research work that I study is threshold signature. That means that it is a system that provide a further security for digital wallet. That means that I can split my keys, my secret keys, into different parts, and then I can store it in different locations in order to provide a better security of my digital wallets. So this is some of my research works that related to blockchain systems. And there are so many research and job opportunities in this direction, like the study of cryptography in terms of digital signatures, the study of consensus system, like the proof of stake system that is currently in test in Ethereum, or some layer 2 solution that provides much better efficiency, like the payment channel. And of course, finally, there are so many applications of smart contract and research on the security as well. So these are all the, I think these are all the promising direction that worth people, especially like you, to work on if you're interested in this area. And there are so many job opportunities nowadays. Actually, I just searched it in Google. I can see that there are more than hundreds of job opportunities in terms of crypto startup, some of the larger crypto companies like Tron, Huobi, Binance, or some of the traditional big four company or banks. So I can see that there are so many opportunities available in this area. And if you're interested, then you can perhaps study more in blockchain and smart contract, and you can work in this area. So I think this is what I want to share with you today. And if you have any questions, then I'm happy to answer it in the Q&A session later on. Thank you.
Okay, it's my turn. So of course, I'm very happy to share. In fact, different from what John has mentioned in my sharing, I focus more on my personal sharing, personal experience, and instead of the more technical things of blockchain cryptocurrency. So hope you enjoy my sharing. First of all, who am I? My English name is Joseph. My Chinese name is Liu Kaishui. So when I present my name to many people not in Hong Kong, they may think that my surname is Lau, because in Mandarin, Liu is Liu. It's not Liu. So usually I will clarify this to them, especially when reach any people outside Hong Kong. And currently, this is my current affiliation with Monash. So I'm the associate professor of the Department of Software System and Cybersecurity and Faculty of IT in Australia and Monash University in Melbourne. And I'm also the director of the Monash Blockchain Technology Center and also the lead for the Monash Cybersecurity Discipline Group. But I have also other current affiliation with CUHK just very recently. So I'm one of the committee member of the CUHK, the Vice Chancellor Global Alumni Advisory Board, 中大環球諮詢校友委員會. I do think many of you don't know about this. Actually, I didn't know as well. Say, last year, I received an email from the Vice Chancellors of CUHK's office and asked me whether I have interest to join this advisory board. Yeah, this is my honor to join, to serve, to contribute to CUHK in this special way. And this advisory board has been established, I think, 3 years ago in 2018. So I'm the second committee member on this. Say we just had a meeting in Zoom last month in June, I think 2 months ago in May. So those people in Hong Kong and the Vice Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor Board in CUHK, and also the committee members who are in Hong Kong, they joined the meeting physically in Hong Kong, while you can see that this is me and also some of the alumni, some of the committee overseas. We joined this meeting through Zoom. So if you have an interest, you can Google and find out more. Say, who are these guys and what is this board doing? But this is another way that I'm very happy to contribute back to CUHK now. And about my past, well, I'm an IEAA alumni, of course, and I spent 8 years, all my 3 degrees in CUHK. So I have 3 graduations, all in CUHK or in IE. The first is the Bachelor of Engineering, the undergraduate program. I got it in 1999. And after that, I spent another 2 years as an MPhil degree to get my Master of Philosophy degree in the same department, Department of IE, and I got it in 2001. And after that, actually, I've spent a few months working outside, but I still prefer to have an academic life. So I came back to CUHK again, to IE, to further study my PhD from 2002, I think it's January of 2002 to the July of 2004. But after that, I still I loved CUHK very much. So that's why I continue to stay 1 more year in CUHK in the same department again. This is a 9th year in IE. I served as assistant professor there, say during the year 2004 to 5. And later I got some funding to support myself to go to UK, the University of Bristol, for 2 years postdoc. After that, I spent another 7.5 years in Singapore, the Institute for Infocom Research, which is one of the institutes for the A-star kind of a government research agency in Singapore. So you can see I have some overlapping with John, say some years overlapping we are in Singapore. In 2005, I joined Monash University, the Faculty of IT. In 2005, from senior lecturer to currently associate professor. So this is what I've done in the past and what I'm in relation with CUHK and IE. And I got some of my award is also related to blockchain. Say the most prestigious award I got. Actually, I got only 1 or 2 awards. This is the most recent one, is the ICT Researcher of the Year Award by the Australian Computer Society, which is the largest professional association of computer science of computer professionals in Australia. And in the past, during my studies in CUHK, this is from 1996 to 2004, I've also got 1 award, only 1 award. Yeah, I'm not a very smart person. I didn't got any first one. I got a second one, and it's I still remember I'm on the I'm not on the first list of the MPhil, but just at that time, the people can easily find a job outside. So once they got the offer, the MPhil offer, they gave up, and therefore I had only a chance to study MPhil. So I'm not the first batch of students. No, so just have a guess what kind of award I got in CUHK. Actually, it's not very related to my research, but later on I may further link this to my research in blockchain. I think it's quite difficult to guess. Okay, yeah, this is the award, the only award that I got from CUHK. 中大歌唱比賽創作組冠軍2004年. This is my last year. I think the last few months when I was a student in CUHK. Because I think when I was young, I liked to do some music, song composing and this kind of things. And I thought at that time, well, this is my last chance. If I haven't participate or at least to submit my song to this competition, I have no chance because I'm going to graduate after 8 years. So I just try. And finally, I got the champion, the winner. And luckily, I have some video. Yeah, still got a video that I forgot who took this video for me at that time. So hopefully it can be played. Well, it is not a very high quality. Well, I still have the high quality one, not the video, but the song in my hard disk. So the name is called 來日理想, and later on I will further to provide a link between this and my current research in blockchain. Probably you can guess it already. Okay, so come back to the blockchain research. Now, actually, my original research, of course, not blockchain, because I started my research career in when I was a PhD in 2001, 2002. So my research focus is cryptography, applied cryptography. And as John has mentioned, blockchain, the most fundamental elements is cryptography. And actually, this is also my PhD thesis published in 2004. The topic is called linkable ring signature. So what is it? So a ring signature, you can regard it the kind of anonymous signature. That is, you can sign any message or documents on behalf of a group, such that the verifier or anyone only knows that this signature is generated by one of the users of the group, but no one can find out who the signer is. So it's a kind of anonymous signature, where it is quite useful when we want to do some kind of privacy-preserving algorithm, especially in blockchain. But the original ring signature doesn't work in cryptocurrency or blockchain, because although it is a kind of anonymous signature, but no one knows whether two signatures are signed by the same signer or by two different signers. In the context of cryptocurrency, that means no one knows whether this guy has spent once or maybe double spend or triple spend, because it is anonymous. And no one knows whether these two signatures or these two payments are by the same user or signer or not. So that's why in 2004, my PhD thesis, I further modified it and created a new notion called linkable ring signature, such that everyone knows whether two signatures are signed by the same signer or not. Yet the anonymity is still preserved. Well, it fits perfectly in the sense of cryptocurrency. So that's why Monero, one of the largest cryptocurrency in the world, which provide the privacy preserving features, anonymity features, I think the current capitalization is around 3.5 billion US dollars. They make use of my PhD thesis, linkable ring signature, and create the protocol called ring CT, ring confidential transaction, that provide the user privacy and also to hide the transaction amount. These two things are not provided in Bitcoin. So in Bitcoin, the sender and the receivers, the ID or the public keys are known to everyone, and also the transaction amount, as well as say the balance of your wallet, is also known to everyone. But in Monero, this is hidden. And they make use of my thesis, linkable ring signature, to create their cryptocurrency. And actually, they didn't tell me. I didn't know until I think 2006 or 2007, when I tried to Google, say, find out what are the applications of this linkable ring signature that I've created 10 years ago. And Google tell me that this is Monero. And therefore, I know now this is my PhD thesis, my research has been used in Monero for their cryptocurrency. Yet they didn't acknowledge me, they didn't give me anything, so don't think I'm rich. No, I got nothing from Monero. But at least I'm very happy that because my research contains some value. It's not just a publication, academic publication in the paper with some citation, but it is deployable in some commercial product, Monero. And but it's quite strange to me that the use of my thesis, my research 10 years ago. And of course, during these 10 years, I have lots of improvement in that. So one of the improvement that I've done with John is the Ring City 2.0. Now, this one, the improvement is we shorten the size. The interesting story is when we put this online, I think in August 2017, within the 24 hours of our publication online, the price of Monero increased double, jumped from I think 50 to 100 US dollars per Monero. And the report, some reports cite that the Monero team has improved this, but in fact, it's not the case. Say, I worked for Monas and John at that time, we worked for Huawei. We didn't have any affiliation with Monero, just our research interest. We want to improve this protocol. But the interesting thing is the people did quite amazing for our work, and then the price of Monero just increased double within 24 hours after our publication online. So I think this is the most valuable paper in my ever life. I think that worth the 50% worth around 300 to 500 million US dollars in a day. So by next time, I should buy some Monero first before publishing this paper online. And my current research with a more blockchain related, because I am a cryptographer, so of course the very interested to work on the crypto primitives related to blockchain, in particular the privacy issue and also the payment channel, or the layer two channel. That is in Bitcoin, you know, the transaction is very slow, only support 7 TPS transactions per second. So therefore, there are lots of other, we call it payment channel to facilitate this transaction, payment transaction. Most of the channel, most of these algorithms use of the crypto primitives. So this is my strong research interest. And also the post-quantum secure blockchain, say the quantum computer, if you have heard about that, say it is very powerful. I think the IBM or the other compute, the big companies, they are working towards the practical, the quantum computers. So what are the consequences of having these quantum computers when they become practical? All this RSA, the existing system RSA, discrete lot, or the elliptic curve system that is used in the current Bitcoin system will be insecure, because the quantum computer is very powerful to break this system. So therefore, I think since 2005 or something like that, say in the people in cryptography, cryptographer community, they try to develop new set of secure algorithms, we call it post-quantum cryptography. So my interest is to develop similar kind of post-quantum algorithm, but for a blockchain. And of course, in our center, in the blockchain center, we have several colleges working on blockchain. So they are also the experts in working on different aspects, such as different areas, such as consensus or the smart contract security. And of course, the purpose of establishing our center is to have a kind of interdisciplinary platform for other sectors, not just for the technical things, but blockchain. We hope to deploy our research outcomes into different industry. So industry engagement is also one of the focus. If you want to know more about center, you can come to here, say monash.edu/blockchain. It's very easy to remember. You can know more about what our center is doing and the projects, these kind of things. And in blockchain in Australia is quite different from Hong Kong. This is a very interesting observation. Say in Hong Kong, of course, fintech is very important, and therefore the blockchain almost equal to fintech in Hong Kong, say the CDBC, cryptocurrency, the ICO, this kind of things. But in Australia, the situation is quite different. If you understand the context of Australia, you may also understand why we focus on these three areas. The first is supply chain, not fintech, it's supply chain. The reason is, say, in Australia, the most of our export, top trend export, are related either to food or agriculture products, such as the milk powders or the minerals, the iron, the other kind of metals. So these are the major economies in the money of Australia coming from. So that's why the government or the whole industry in Australia, they are very keen to make use of this blockchain technology to provide a kind of trust and confidence to the customers along the supply chain for these products, including the milk powders, including the food, the beef, also the mineral products. Just recently, the government announced a very big project, about $3 million to build a supply chain for the critical minerals, just for the company, especially in Western Australia, the critical mineral, the iron or the other kind of metal. It is also very important to provide a trust and confidence to the customers, the end of the supply chain users. So therefore, it is quite common. So when we talk about blockchain in Australia, the number one come up is supply chain. It's not fintech, it's not cryptocurrency, it's supply chain. And the second one, again, is maybe quite a surprise to most of you if you are in Hong Kong or in mainland China, is education. I don't refer to the education of blockchain to educate people what is blockchain. No, it's the application of blockchain in the education sector. Again, education is also one of the important incomes in Australia. Say, especially for the university sector, it counts about 25% of our GDP every year. So very important, the education to Australia, to our economy as well. So how blockchain can bring the benefit to Australia? One of the most popular usage is to put these students, the transcript, the certificate into the blockchain system, because most of our students, especially the master students, they are coming from overseas, and they will, when they after they graduate, when they come back to the home country, of course they need to show the certificate to their employers to show they have got a master in Monash in Australia. But you know, it's quite easy to make a fake one. So that's why the blockchain community is also very keen to provide a certification or certificate to let students to show to their employee, the future employer, that the students really got this kind of, say, for example, high distinction or first honor from Monash University. Now see, this is on a blockchain system and signed by Monash. And also this blockchain can also allow the future employers or the companies, by using some kind of AI machine learning technique, to find the candidates for the future employee. Because it actually is a kind of very large database in the blockchain system, contains all students, graduate, and with their specification as well. So they can provide a kind of the data source to the companies, to the industry, to fill up the labor requirement as well. So the education is also one of the very important usage of blockchain in Australia. The third one, of course, is a kind of fintech, but not just fintech, but other kind of technology, legal tech as well. In the legal system, is currently the legal system is also heavily related to paper. So in many of the law, this kind of things, they still need to look at the paper, the come back to the office. I think this is one of the story that Melbourne is going to have lockdown last year. You know, Melbourne, we have currently we are in lockdown as well, the 5th lockdown. But during last year, the 2nd lockdown is the longest lockdown, 3 months long. So some law firms, they require their employee to come back to the company. Why? Because they need to look at some documents, the paper-based document. It's not even in a computer. So therefore, the legal tech, or generally we call the red tech, is another focus in the Australian government and the usage of blockchain. It's quite different. You can see it's quite different from the other sides in Hong Kong or Singapore. We are focusing more on because of our own context in Australia. And other interesting thing that we can observe, actually this only happens at the beginning of this year. Since the beginning of this year, green mining of cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin's always being criticized by the people, by the environmental protection people, saying that it's not green, it is not environmental friendly because it's a waste of energy, waste of electricity. And I think all of you know that in the Chinese government also banned all these kind of mining activities. So in the past, I think more than 90% of the mining of Bitcoin happens in China, in mainland China. But since the government, the Chinese government banned these activities, the mining machine becomes a waste. So they need to sell it to other people in other countries, at least to get some little money from it. And Australia, actually, many people, they send their mining machine to Australia. So why? Australia, actually, the electricity is not cheap. It's not cheap, it's quite expensive. But why the people are still keen to do the mining in Australia? Because they call it a kind of green mining, another new concept of mining of Bitcoin or this kind of cryptocurrency. You know, Australia is very large, and in the middle of Australia is desert. It's desert area. So desert means there are sunshine, I think more than 16 hours or 17 hours. So what these people doing? They buy this kind of solar panel to the desert, and then they build this mining farm, the Bitcoin mining farm in the desert. So use the solar energy to provide the electricity for the mining. They call it green mining because they said that even if they don't do the mining in the desert area, they will not use the solar energy generated there to support the other cities, because it is quite expensive to build, say, the electricity cable from the middle of Australia, from the desert to Sydney or to Melbourne. It's not possible because it's too long and the cost is too high. But do the mining is different. You don't need to have a cable. You may just use this kind of broadband. It's much cheaper than building the electricity cable. Just have the broadband in the desert area. That is fine. They still have 4G or 5G or use the satellite. And actually, the bandwidth requirement is not very high to do the mining. So they build the solar panel. They build they use the solar energy to use the mining. And they said that even if they are not doing mining, those solar energy will not be used to support the other cities in Australia. So it is a surplus. It is not part of the electricity system. So they call it green mining. So that's why from the beginning of this year, many mining machines are being sent to Australia, the desert area, to do the green mining. Now, this is another different story from Hong Kong. Of course, Hong Kong is no way to do this kind of green mining. And if you want to learn more about the blockchain or the application of blockchain now, our center also provide a kind of online learning. Say, when you click to the center, click to the tab Learn, and there's a kind of micro credential, which is a short course, an online short course. And the next will be run on the middle of August. So you have interest, so you can click there and take a look whether you have interest to apply for the short course of micro credential of applications of blockchain. And my personal interest in blockchain, of course, is on the research side, especially on the cryptography related, which is similar to John as well. So we have many joint papers, joint publications we work together. The basic cryptography, of course, is our main interest. And also, with regard to say still remember the song that I've sung, say, I hope I can build a kind of NFT platform for music. Say, NFT becomes a very hot topic in the community, but it seems most of the current NFT platforms are related to the digital art or the game setting. The music is a late starter because the content is quite different. So from a game or the game, the weapons, for example, or the art, the people may want to buy it and they want to store it for their own use. They don't want to share again to other people. But for music, it's different stories, especially from the point of view as, for example, I'm an amateur musician. just for my leisure. I'm not a professional one. I'm not Chen Wenyan. So if I sell my song, I don't think people will be happy to spend some money to buy my song, but just for my interest. How about that? If it is possible, or from my current resources, or if anyone of interest, we can have a talk, say how to build an NFT platform for music, hopefully, especially for the Cantonese pop song, especially for the non-professional music lover to have their song put on the NFT platform. That is also one of my personal experiences. I have written, I think, 5 to 10 songs in the past, few 10 years or 20 years ago. But of course, at that time, there's no such platform. And I'm also afraid to put it online. The reason is, say, how about if some other people, they just copy my song and then they claim this is their own song. So I got nothing from that, even from the name. So I just prefer to keep it at my hard disk currently. But if I have this NFT platform, especially for the amateur, not the professional one, so I can just freely put my song in NFT to see, say, who are interested to download or to buy. Actually, finally, just want to share with you one of the songs that I've written, I think in 2007 or 2008. This is, at that time, I think I still work with the department, or just graduate 1 or 2 years, and I have a DI with the head, and I say, how about I write a song for the department? I say, yes, well, a good idea. So for those of you, maybe some of you have thought about that, but if not, say you can go to, I think someone else, not me, someone else, they put it into the YouTube as well, so you can scan a QR code to download the song, and I can play it now. Say this song is written by me, the music, and also the arrangement, and also I sing this version, but I absolutely forgot who helps to write the lyrics. Just remember his name, but who is it? I don't know yet. So if you are the guide who write the lyrics, please let me know. So let me play the song now. So hope one day this song can be sold in the NFT platform very soon. I think that's the end of my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Very engaging and interesting talk. So let's hand over the time to Shawn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shawn He. I work for Hexagon Company Limited, which is a spin-off of Huobi Exchange. I work as a high-frequency trading quantitative trader. I focus on high-frequency directional bets, market making, and also arbitrage strategies. Today, I will briefly introduce about cryptocurrency and its trading. Here are the 3 items. The first one is market, secondly, trading, and followed by the employment. For the market, as you may know that there are over 8,000 cryptocurrencies in the world. The first one obviously is Bitcoin, followed by Ethereum. Bitcoin has the highest dominance, which accounts for 45% of the overall market cap, and then ETH, which has 17% market cap. Two professors also mentioned some different categories by its functionalities. For example, BTC is a currency, Ethereum, which is a smart contract protocol. They also mentioned security token and also the utility tokens. Apart from that, we also have exchange tokens, including Huobi token, BNB, OKB. Why the category matters from the trading perspective? Because we may assume that the tokens within each sector may have higher pairwise correlation. In this assumption, we can assume that the tokens within each sector may have similar trading patterns in the long term. So once the price difference deviate from each other, we can assume that they will converge in the near future. So this is a trading idea. This is the market dominance I just mentioned. About the exchange, if you want to trade Bitcoin, you better go to an exchange instead of OTC because it has a best liquidity. There are two types of exchange: centralized exchange and also decentralized exchange. Usually, centralized exchange gives the best user interface, fastest API also, and the best liquidity. There are four types of centralized exchange in the world I categorize. The first one is comprehensive exchange, like Huobi, Binance, OKX. They basically offers all types of products in crypto, including spot, futures. Futures means dated futures. They have expiry dates. Perpetual swap, which are never settled. Options, they already have mining and other kinds of products. Apart from that, in different countries, they have local fiat exchange. In US, they have Coinbase, Bitstamp, Gemini. At Hong Kong, we also have Tidebit, you may heard about, and also hkd.com. You may see the advertisement in the road. The third is derivative exchange, like BitMEX, Deribit, Bybit. They only offer futures trading and options. They don't have spot trading. The first one is regulated exchange, like CME. If your capital is regulated, you can't put your money into unregulated firms. You can trade Bitcoin and Ethereum futures in CME. That is decentralized exchange. People think that centralized exchange is less secure compared with decentralized exchange, but decentralized exchange also has lower speed when you want to trade. That's pros and cons. I'm working in one of the comprehensive exchange Huobi I just mentioned. So for Bitcoin, if we look at its returns in the last 10 years, comparing with all other traditional assets like equities, commodities, foreign currencies, this stuff, we can find that as of this April, Bitcoin has annualized return 200% compared with all other markets. US Nasdaq 100 has 16% annual return. Gold has 11%. So Bitcoin obviously outperforms greatly. So here what's my point? My point is that for a trader, your performance comes from two aspects, alpha and beta. Alpha is your data, your strategy, your system. If you have better data, your model is done better, or you have better system to execute orders, which gives you lower slippage, faster speed. That's also okay. But more important is that where you are working. Working in an industry where it has the highest beta, that is why some people can get successful. Some traders can have better track record. Opportunities and perspective. For a retail trader, I guess most of you don't work in cryptocurrency as a full-time employee. So for a retail trader, what you can do is to wait a bull market and buy and hold. You may heard about Bitcoin halving history in its last 10 years. The first round was in 2012 and 13. The price went up from dollars to above 200. The second was in 2016 and 17. The price went up from hundreds to above 1,000. The third round was from the end of last year to the beginning of this year. The Bitcoin price went up to 65,000. Now it pulled back to 30,000. This is about the market. It's then we'll focus on the trading part. Here it's more about quantitative trading. What is quantitative trading? Quantitative trading is develop models based on the data and execute the models and make profits from the models. The most important thing is the data. Where is the data? For cryptocurrency market, usually the market data, the secondary market data is the most important because it's the easiest data to get, and also it contains all the information in the market. Usually we mean that K9, the candlestick chart, open, hello, close, this chart, and also the ticket data. Ticket data is where you can see all the orders and trades all the traders in this market sent to the exchange. So you can get a clue how many buyers, how many sellers, how many buyer means you actually take the opposite order. Apart from that, blockchain data also matters. Blockchain stores all the transactions. So if we aggregate all the transactions, there may be some indicators which has positive relationship with the next coming days price movements. For example, how many wallets open today? How many transactions are done? How many Bitcoin sent to the exchange? How many Ethereum bought from the exchange? This info are very helpful. For example, if we send 10K Bitcoin to the exchange, usually that means people want to sell Bitcoin. Otherwise, they would prefer to keep their Bitcoin in their wallet. Lastly, some other data also helps us to improve our models, like Google Trends, GitHub commits. You can look at the chart, you can see that there is a good correlationship between the Bitcoin price movement and the Google Trends. When the Bitcoin, it's very simple to understand. When there are more attention from the traditional market to cryptocurrency market, more capital flow into this market, price go up. That's simple. Then followed by the strategies. Usually when we are developing the strategies, you need to execute the strategy. So what is a strategy? The strategy is that you have some assumption. You use the data to validate your strategy. So when you are executing your strategy, if you think tomorrow's price will go up, you buy it. After that, you exit your position. And that is timing. You will trade one single instrument or a bunch of coins. Secondly is the selection. So if you think DeFi tokens can perform better than Bitcoin and Ethereum, you long DeFi and short Bitcoin. That is a selection. The third one is volatility. Volatility, if we look at last 30 days annual volatility, you can find that it may range from 0 to 150%. When the volatility is all-time high or all-time low, you can bet that it will converge to the middle point in someday. So that's how you execute your strategies. You either can use your quantitative data, quantitative signal models, where you just trade based on some technical analysis, where you research on the blockchain, its backend mechanism, and get if the ecosystem is good or not, or if the government has better policy on the market. This is fundamental analysis. So you can different people have different methodologies. But in my view, if you are doing quantitative statistical models, usually a good trend momentum factors really outperform the mean reverse factors. It can give you the excess returns. That is what we call the beta. Model is alpha, trend is beta. For typical prop trading firm or asset management firm, we can develop different types of strategies. Different strategies give you different return risk profiles. For example, quant-trained discretionary fundamental trading options, they have high return and risks. Say you just hold Bitcoin for 1 year. Maybe you can get 10x performance, but you may have also like 10%, for example, over 40% or 50% drawdown. That is super high risk. But if you are working on, like me, high frequency trading, market making upcharge, usually it has a very high Sharpe ratio with very limited drawdown that contains low risk. And also OTC flow, you get the spread between the buyers and seller. Low and borrow, same, you get cheaper borrow from the bank and then your money to others, you get the spread among the funding rates. So so you can pick the strategies based on your risk appetite and also based on your skills. When we are programmatically to execute the orders, we need a system. A system means that it can help you to do the trades 24 hours every day automatically with the risks limited. For us, we separate the system into different parts, like market data service, position service, risk service, and order and trade service. These services connect to the exchange and then push the info to the strategy. Once the strategy listens to this information and react on them and send the orders to the exchange. Market data collects the data from the exchange via REST or WebSocket. Position service gets the position and balance and push to the strategy. Order and trade service manages the rate limit and give the order feedback to the strategy, handles the reconnection stuff. The last one is risk service. For example, it can control how much position you can open, how many orders you can do every day to make sure your account is not banned. So these services can be running as a library within each strategy or running as independent service. Different methods have different have advantages and disadvantages. For example, if it's running as a library, it gives you the quickest speed and lowest slippage, but it's harder to maintain. If it's running as independent service, it's easier to maintain, but it will bring also a bit slippage. For example, within several micros or within 1 millisecond. The last part is about employment. Take prop trading or asset management firm, for example. I assume that most of you come from information engineering major. So developer is very easy to understand. For a trading firm, what developer does is to collect and maintain the data, and then develop and maintain the trading system. Here, I will mention the skills a bit later. For trader, it's just go to analyze the data collected and research on them, and then execute and monitor the trading process. Also, some other roles are required, like operation and risk monitor, and risk controller, and also say HR. Most two roles are traders and dev in a trading firm. If you want to become a quantitative trader, you better have experience on researching related quant models. Different traders research on different types of models. High frequency look at ticket data, trend look at K9s, fundamental look at the fundamental, the cash inflow, outflow, technical analysis, the stuff. Apart from that, all the traders better have decent program skills in C++ and Python. For system developer, program skills is always required. Besides data science, computer algorithms is also a plus. Lastly, we as a trading firm, we are still hiring all types of traders high frequency options, discretionary trend, arbitrage market making, all these types of strategies. We also hire developers from senior to junior to dev. If you are interested, you can send your CV to my email. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shawn. So now I think we can have time for some Q&A. I saw already someone post something on the board. So let me share the screen. Okay, so I think we don't have a lot of time, but we might overrun a little bit. So I hope you don't mind. So let me see what questions we have here. I think the first two it should be about getting into the industry, right? Getting a job in maybe blockchain, cryptocurrency, or trading. Is it important to do lead code for interview? What courses should we take? Maybe Shawn, would you like to take these questions?
Actually, there are some online courses. Of course, if you want to know something first, perhaps you can do some online course. And I know Hong Kong our department has one blockchain online course. And it is both in the technical side, some in business side, some in legal side as well. So they're related to blockchain. I think some other university, they should also have some kind of this kind of online course as well. So you can have a try first. Perhaps this is one of the best way to get started.
How about Shawn? So you are in the industry. Can you talk a little bit about what is the interview process look like and what kind of specific skills is required?
Sure. Always, LeetCode, as you know, it helps you to improve your algorithm skills. It is of course helpful. But if you want to become a trader, especially quantitative trader, I think the best approach is to do a try. You download the data from the exchange and put your ideas into backtesting and keep monitoring and improving your idea. That is the best approach. LeetCode helps you to improve your skills if you are working as a high frequency trader and you try to improve your order execution. That's also helpful.
Okay. And then we have another question on there are many new coins invented over the years. So effectively, there will be an abundant supply of digital currency. Will this lead to depreciation? Any of the speakers want to take that?
Yeah, although there are lots of new coins almost every day, but I think most of them are not really used by other people. I think only a few is really worth real money. So I don't think there will be this kind of oversupply, because nowadays that people only buy and sell Bitcoin, Ether, maybe just the first 10 or 20, but not for the others, thousands of other coins. So I don't think that's the problem.
Okay. Any other opinions from the speakers?
I agree. Take Bitcoin and Ethereum, for example. There are many hard forks of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, and Litecoin. But still, Bitcoin has the highest market cap because of its brand. People think Bitcoin is the first one. All other followers, except that you have something different from Bitcoin, and its value is greater than Bitcoin. Otherwise, all the followers will just make Bitcoin better. Ethereum the same. It's the first smart contract protocol. Its value is its ecosystem. If you just do a hard fork on its code, it's just useless because you don't have the same ecosystem. That's all.
Okay. We have another question on what's your take on the prospects of ETH and BTC in terms of usage, capital appreciation? Any ideas? Like Joseph, how about what do you see from an academic perspective?
Of course, it's the largest cryptocurrency of the world. So you can see the trend price of other cryptocurrency. They most likely follow the price of Bitcoin. But Ethereum is, in terms of technical, there's more contribution to the world because of the smart contract, and people saying that is the blockchain 2.0 or even 3.0. You can see most of the applications that require smart contract now they use ETH. For example, the NFT platform. Most of the NFT platform they are built on top of ETH, and there are different standards of ETH as well. So in terms of the usage, of course, ETH is more useful than BTC. But since BTC is still the first one, so for the trend for the price, other cryptocurrency, I believe they will still follow the trend for the BTC. And so far, it is still the largest cryptocurrencies in the world.
Okay, thanks, Joseph. And then I think we have some questions related to the centralized currency, CBDC, like whether it's centralized or decentralized, and would it be decentralized one day? How about, like, John, do you have any opinions on that? Like, I think you mentioned about that in your slides.
Yeah. I think CBDC is considered to be somehow centralized because it is issued by those central banks. So it's because the government want to somehow compete with the Bitcoin because Bitcoin is so hot, and they don't want all the monies go to BTC. Well, so they develop their own in order to do something to keep the money in their own currency. So the government wants to control things. Yeah, I can see some comments. So that's why perhaps CBDC is developed in the first place. So I don't think it will be decentralized for those CBDC.
How about Shawn? Do you think this kind of like centralized currency would have any impact on the crypto exchange market?
Well, I think they will have some impact on the stable coins. Stable coin is not, USDT is not regulated. USDC is regulated, and we see that there is for the ratio of USDC versus UST keeps going up. If if there is a CBDC issue goes to the public, it must have a great impact on USDT. But for other currencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, I don't think they are the same thing.
Okay, thank you. And we have a question, probably for Joseph. Like, is the blockchain application in Australia mentioned monetary and sustainable? What is the key to promote these applications?
In fact, why the Australian government identified these 3 areas, because they want to help the industry in Australia, of course, to do more business or earn more in terms of more finance incentive to adopt blockchain in the sectors. For example, in the case of supply chain, if they use blockchain to provide traceability of the product, they can maybe to sell a higher price for the red wine, for example. So that they can earn more, and then with the competitors, the customer of the Australian product, they have more confidence to buy more Australian products, or even have a higher price. They are willing to pay a higher price to buy the beef from Australia rather than say from other countries, because of this the trust of the data in the supply chain. And of course, the key is it is still referred to the economic structure of Australia. So fintech is not one of the major the incomes of Australia. Is still this kind of primary materials such as the agriculture one, or the minerals, as well as the education sector. So that's why in the Australian context, we put this kind of things to be the more priority by using the blockchain technology rather than the fintech that's in Hong Kong or in maybe Singapore.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. I think there's also one question for Shawn. would you mind explaining the concept of alpha and beta in trading, which you mentioned in your presentation?
Yeah. The answer is yes. Our model is alpha, trend is beta. For a market, if it has a higher beta, it is easier for at least for quant researchers to build models. Alpha is model that is correct, but not only that. Like say, if we have better data, it also offers alpha. Alpha means what's your edge, what's your advantage compared with other participants in the market. Better data, better models, better system, maybe also like say larger capital. That's also your alpha.
Okay, thank you, Shawn. Let me just take this last question, and then I have actually a question for the speakers myself. So what is the relation between CBDC and blockchain? It seems they're not related essentially. How would you answer these questions? Like, John, maybe?
Yeah. Actually, the CBDC, most of them, they use the blockchain technology inside. That means all the transactions are recorded in the blockchain. But of course, this is for, it depends on the country. I heard that the China CBDC is not really using blockchain, but it depends. But maybe most of them, they use the blockchain technology behind.
Thanks, John. Yeah, so because of the time, I don't want to keep everyone for long, but I think I would like to ask each of the speakers one last question. Like for most of the students or like recent graduates who are interested in blockchain or cryptocurrency, I think one important thing that they want to know is what do they need to learn or get prepared to enter this domain or industry. So if I would like to ask you to suggest one single course in the university that the people should take in order to prepare themselves for doing research in blockchain or being a trader or work as a developer in cryptocurrency, what would you suggest? Maybe we can start from Joseph.
Depends on what you want to do. Of course, if you want to do the research in the academic side, you may need to take more the technical things. Actually, not necessary to be blockchain, but some kind of, say, for example, cryptography or the networking course. Because I don't believe there are lots of, say, for example, master blockchain in the world, but there are some online or this kind of diploma sort course of blockchain that may be suitable not just for the people who want to do research, but just like, for example, the programmer or engineer. So they have the background of IT, but they may not know about, say, the blockchain, or they may not have the hands-on experience of doing this kind of blockchain engineering. So it's a good starting point for them to take this kind of short course, just to upgrade themselves, the skills from the normal IT engineer to the blockchain engineer.
How about Shawn?
Well, for the course, I don't know. I have graduated several years, but I think just do some research on cryptocurrency again, especially for quant trading. Get the data from the exchange, put your ideas into backtesting, and keep monitoring. That's the best approach. And when you show your code, your models, and your performance curve to the HR, that's the best thing, I think.
John?
All right. Actually, I believe that most of the university nowadays, they have course in blockchain if you're studying computer science or IT field. So I think you can do so if you are taking an undergrad or master degree now. So but if the university does not provide that, then maybe just normal programming would be fine, because if you're working on smart contract application, because it is just another kind of programming language. Or if you want to do it is algo trading, then you may need some kind of quantitative finance knowledge. I think these are the most related courses that you can take.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think I see that Oscar, you want to ask a question. Maybe you can ask one question, but since we are over time, I think we will end after that. Oscar, what's your question? Can you unmute yourself? Okay, I see a question in the chat. It's a question for Shawn. Did you trade before in stock or foreign exchange? What's the difference between crypto and stocks?
Yeah, before trading cryptocurrencies, I was trading Chinese futures and commodity futures, as quantitative trader. I think the difference is quite straightforward for me. Cryptocurrency is an emerging market. It has higher volatility, more opportunity, higher beta, I just mentioned. It is traded 24 hours every day, 7 days every week. In traditional market, it's traded 4 hours every day. So your experience gets 6x faster compared with traditional market. And also, there is no because given that there is no market close, so all the things are contained in the market data. You can get all the information, especially for maybe for startup. That's much easier. If you trade in traditional market, if you want to compete with others, you need to accumulate much more stuff. For example, you don't need it's not enough to only have market data. You also have the fundamental, like say, because there are a lot of relationship between different industries, so that's much more difficult.
Okay, thank you. I think we have time, so maybe if you have any other questions for the speakers, you can surely connect with them offline or through LinkedIn. I think they'll be very happy to connect with alumni and students. So let me take this opportunity to thank Joseph, John, and Shawn for their time and effort to present their experience and work in this sharing. And also thank you everyone for joining the sharing section. I will send out a questionnaire to everyone so that you can give your feedback and suggestions for future events. And I hope you will join us next time. Thank you, everyone. See you.